Hello there and welcome. So, you're planning a trip? That is so exciting. Now, I know airports can feel a little confusing sometimes, especially when you're dealing with English, but don't you worry because we are here to help. In this little guide, we're going to go over all the keywords and phrases you'll need to travel like a pro. So, here's the game plan. First up, we're going to learn the most important words you'll see and hear at the airport. Then, we'll put those words into action with a fun little story. And to wrap it all up, we'll have a quick quiz to see what you remember. Sound good? Okay, let's jump right in. All right, part one. Let's talk about the key places and times you need to know. Think of these as the fundamental building blocks, the nouns that will help you figure out where you are and where you need to be. Okay, our very first word is departure. Let's say that one nice and slow. Departure. Your departure is just when you leave. It's the start of your journey. So, for example, you might look at your ticket and say, my departure is at 2 o'clock. Simple as that. And what's the opposite of leaving? Well, it's arriving. So our next word is arrival. Let's try it. Arrival. This is when you finally get to where you're going. So a friend picking you up might ask, hey, what is your arrival time? Now, this next one is super important. It's boarding time. Boarding time. This is the exact time you can actually start getting on the plane. You'll hear people say things like, our boarding time is 10:30 a.m., so we can't be late. And at your boarding time, where do you need to be? You need to be at the departure gate. Departure gate. This is literally the door you walk through to get onto the airplane. You'll see it on the big screens. Flight to London, departure gate C7. But wait, before you can even get to the gate, you have to go through the security check. Security check. This is that area where they scan you and your bags to make sure everything is safe. It's a step everyone has to take. All right, now let's fast forward. You've landed. Where do you get your big suitcases? You head over to the luggage claim. Luggage claim. You know, that's the place with the big moving carousel where your bags come out. You might text a friend, I'll meet you over at the luggage claim. You're doing great. Now let's move on to our second set of words. This part is all about the key events and actions, the things that happen at the airport. You can think of these as the verbs of your travel story. You know, sometimes things don't go perfectly to plan, and you might experience a flight delay. Flight delay. This just means your plane is going to leave later than it was supposed to. You might hear an announcement say, we apologize for the flight delay. And speaking of that, how do you find out about a delay? Well, you listen for an announcement. Announcement. An announcement is just an important message that they say over the big speakers for everyone to hear. Like, please listen carefully to this important announcement. Okay, let's put it all together. Here are the steps you take to actually get on the plane. First, you check in online. Super easy. Then, if you have big bags, you drop off your luggage. Next up, you have to go through security. After that, you're free to find your gate and board the plane. And the very last thing, once you're in your seat, you fasten your seatbelt. See? It's a process. So now that we've learned all these words, let's see how they actually sound in a real conversation. We're going to follow a short story about a traveler who had a pretty stressful day. Okay, so here's how the story starts. I arrived early. After I checked in online and dropped off my luggage, I went through the security check to find my departure gate. See? All those steps we just talked about, boom, right there in order. But then, a little bit of trouble. I heard an announcement. My flight was delayed. I had to change gates at the last minute. Oh man, this is exactly why you have to listen carefully to those announcements. So yeah, things got a little intense. I almost missed my flight. I ran to the new gate just as boarding time started. I boarded the plane and found my window seat. Whew, that was a close one, but they made it just in time. And thankfully, there's a happy ending. I fastened my seatbelt, the plane took off smoothly and landed safely. I went to the luggage claim and smiled. So even with all that stress, everything worked out perfectly in the end. You see how all those words connect? That story really brings them to life. So now it's your turn. Time to check your understanding and see what's stuck. Let's do a quick review. Okay, first question for you. What do we call that specific spot, that door in the airport, where you actually get on your plane? Take a second to think about it. Yes, that's it. It's the departure gate. You got it. Fantastic.
All right, next one. Imagine your flight has just landed. You're finally there. Where do you go to get your big suitcase?
Exactly. You go to the luggage claim area. Perfect. You are on a roll.
And now for the final challenge. This one is all you. What does flight delay mean? But hey, don't just say it. For this one, I want you to go down to the comments section and write your answer down below. I can't wait to see what you write.
You did some fantastic work today. Seriously. You now have the essential English words to get through any airport with confidence. Which really just leaves one last question. Now you have the words, where will they take you next? If you found this helpful, please subscribe so you don't miss our next lesson. Thanks for tuning in and happy travels.